All right. I am going live streaming right here at 100% Adventure. I'm going to double check, make sure it's showing up on YouTube, which it apparently is. Want to make sure I've got audio coming through. Maybe I should turn it up a little bit. All right. I'm going to wait until I see somebody entering before I really get started. I really got to figure out a good way to have this microphone here. There we go. And let's see, I am going to invite people on Twitter. And I'm going to invite people on Facebook before I get started here. Hi, by the way. My name's Jack, aka Action Jason Cosplay. This is my third live stream episode of 100% Adventure. So that's pretty exciting. Don't show anybody in at this present time, so I'm probably just talking to myself. But once I get some eyes on, we will break into this evening's episode and have me a little Punisher juice. Most people call it water. I call it Punisher juice. All right. 2 minutes in, and we do not have anyone. Part of me was thinking I should wear the mask tonight. But nah. Well, we've got one person in. So what's the Haps Adventure fam? This here is Jack, aka Action Jason Cosplay, here with the newest sensation on YouTube. That's what I'm calling it. That's 100% Adventure, by the way. We just talk about stuff in general. We have kind of a set idea of what we're doing during a specific episode, and with the help of you, the viewer, and the right over on the side there, we've got a comment section. You can feel free to comment during these live streams, and I will respond. And this is kind of an open forum. It's kind of, let's talk about a subject, and I'll give my opinion and maybe some stories about the exact subject that we're talking on. And then, if you have opinions on the subject, feel free to spout them out right over there. That's always very helpful. And if you have any questions, or if you anything like that, feel free just to jump right in. Also, while you're here and while we're waiting for to really kick off, if you go down below here, there's a subscribe button, and there's a little bell icon, and a thumbs up. Please apply liberally, and subscribe and like, and ring that bell, because that way you will know when a new episode or a new live stream is going on. Also, I will be doing some other programming in the future, so that you may find out about that when it's coming up. as well as I will be talking about it on my Twitter feed under Action Jason Cosplay, which is action_Jason_CP. So, feel free to follow me over there. I'm under Jack Brunetti on Facebook. Jack, last name B as in boy, Rinatte. I am also on the Instagram and on the TikTok as the same as my Twitter handle, action_Jason_CP for cosplay, as it were. I just sent out some Facebook and Twitter invites to get people in. Other than that, as I said before, my name's Action Jason Cosplay, and my real name is Jack. And last week's episode, hey Wolf, how you doing, brother? Last week's episode, for those of you who were here, was about the paranormal and about my experiences and how I believe the paranormal exists and what it entails, and a little bit of this, that, and the other thing. And we had some nice discussions going on. We had some good comments about how other people viewed the paranormal, and so that was really great. This week we are under the conspiracy questions versus theory. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jack, what do you mean questions versus theory? Well, let me tell you what I mean by that. Question versus theory. Now, my beliefs on conspiracies is that conspiracies are not necessarily, what would you call it, weird people thoughts. There are conspiracies that that over the years have been, brought out to be proven. People thought about them for years and said, oh, this and this and that happened and blah, blah, blah. And then one day, something comes out in the news and says, oh, by the way, they were right. So when I say conspiracy questions versus theory, what I'm talking about is the ability to question things that you don't quite understand. And there's nothing wrong with not understanding something completely. There's a lot of things that go on in this world that, even some of the weird things bear looking into. So I say questions versus theories because I do question some things, and I believe that people should question things. I believe people should find their own answers and what suits them. And versus theories, I think that you have to question them because a lot of the theories are not well thought out. So I would prefer to question conspiracies than to necessarily make theories about them. And that's where the question versus theory comes from. I don't know. It looks like we've only got me and Wolf here. The gentleman that was in last week had wanted to be reminded to come visit the show, and he's not showing up, I don't think. So I could be wrong. So anyhow, that's basically what it is. Conspiracy questions versus theories. And that's what I mean by questions versus theories. Have a healthy dose of skepticism on things that happen in the world, because a lot of times you're reading what one group of people want you to know, and not what necessarily contains all of the facts. And that's not necessarily a good thing. So, well, let's, I guess, dive into it, because I'm assuming this is going to be the way things are going to run tonight. I'm going to start out with a little story. Now, a little story is about how conspiracies may or may not make sense. And when I look at a conspiracy has to have a few things. It has to be plausible, not necessarily plausible in what the overall theory is, but plausible in the fact that it can be carried out, or there is a reason for it to be carried out. Now, for instance, for decades, there was the theory that we knew that the Japanese were going to attack Pearl Harbor, and we let them so that we could get into World War II. And we have, over the years, learned that a lot of that stuff was, in fact, true. Now, this is a good example of how I figure out or how I look at a theory. Now, the main thing of a theory is that you can't have a lot of people involved who know the secrets, that know the end game, that know everything. Because the biggest problem with that is the more people you have involved, the harder it is to keep it secret. For instance, when you're looking at the World War II, communication, the military had it. They had pretty rapid communication with the government, but the average person did not. Today we have the internet. I can get on here right now and contact people around the planet and give my theories, right? Or if I stumbled upon something that actually happened, I could go online and get it out there to the people, the masses. But they couldn't during World War II. That wasn't necessarily the case. Like I say, the government, the military, they could communicate on a pretty quick basis, or a pretty rapid basis. But the average person could not. Now, you look at the people that would have to be involved in a conspiracy like Pearl Harbor. You would have obviously some generals and some admirals and so on who would be privy to the information. And of course, they're not going to be telling anybody. You'd have the president, who is most likely privy to the information. Once again, he's not going to tell anybody. You have soldiers and sailors and bears and stuff. Now, soldiers and sailors are also, they swore an oath to not divulge secret information. So you've got your players in action. They're all military and government. People who are not going to be easily manipulated. It's not like they had the guy that owns the little radio shop down the road involved in it, and they're just assuming he's going to keep quiet. This is people that are under oath to keep quiet. Now, the other part of this is there is an end game. There is a goal, as it were, which was to get into World War II. There is someone who profits from it, mainly the government, mainly the president. The country wanted a reason to get involved with World War II, or with the conflict of the time. So there's all kinds of fail-safes here. There are reasons to get involved. There are people involved that aren't going to be telling the stories that, until way later. And by that time, it's irrelevant because you've already gotten what you wanted. Now, that's an example of something that makes sense. Now you go, right now, one of the biggest ones, I think, is the conspiracy of the flat earth. There's so many people around this globe that think the Earth is flat. So they're round the globe. Because, yeah. Anyhow, now here's the thing with a conspiracy such as a flat Earth. Now, there are a lot of smart people in this world. There are a lot of people that work for NASA. There are a lot of people that work for the European Space Agency. You know, there are space agencies in every country. So you've got a lot of people there, right? Got a lot of people who are astrophysicists, astronomers, you know, just across the gamut of sciences that would be able to know whether or not, you know, the Earth was flat. You know, it's part of their job description, part of their schooling, part of everything. So here's the thing. Now you got all these people. You got all these scientists. You got scientists who don't work for the government, don't work for a large corporation or a large school. You know, they're doing their own research. They're doing their own study. There are people with their telescopes out every night. It goes down even as far as people who just photograph, you know, the stars, photograph the stars and the planets, you know. I have a friend that does that, Sean Briganti. I know I butchered his last name, but he's often posting pictures of the moon and Saturn and, you know, some of the constellations and stuff. So even he would have to be in on this. So we're talking hundreds of thousands of people around the planet would have to be lying to you, telling you that the Earth is flat. Now that's bad enough, all right? Now let's look into who benefits and why and how. I really wish I had the sound effects of crickets chirping, because that's kind of the thing. Now, who would benefit? Nobody. You know, what would be the benefit? Can you think of one? I mean, I can't think of a logical benefit of making people believe we're on a sphere instead of a flat plane. You know, oh, well, it's to keep us down and keep us in check. Why is it to keep us in check? Why? Are we likely, you, Mr. Guy in Atlanta, Georgia, to build your own rocket ship to go to another planet and they're holding you back? Probably not. So that's what I mean between theories and questions. Questions, there's some logic to it. There's some information that you can glean from it. But if you're looking at theories, which are fine, theories are fine, don't get me wrong, but they're oftentimes not educated theories. You know, I mean, look at all these theories that make absolutely no sense. You've got the flat Earth. I don't see that many people hiding it from you. Same with the moon landing. There'd be hundreds and hundreds of NASA employees that would have to keep that from you, as well as, you know, the astronauts and, you know, the military and the, you know, the U.S. government and everything. At least there, though, there is a reason to have done it if it were a conspiracy. You know, we get to be the first people on the moon. You know, that puts us into a position of dominance, maybe, against the other countries. So yes, there is a logical reason to do it, but still a whole lot of people that would have to be out there keeping the secret from you, you know? So not very likely. But then you look at some of the ridiculous ones. You look at birds don't exist. Now, I don't know about you, but if the government has the ability to make robot birds that you can see laying on the ground after they've flown into a window or been run over by a car, and you can't tell they're robots. I don't know if I'm the only one that's ever seen a bird body, but they're if the government can make that good of a robot, then we're in a lot more trouble than just birds spying on us. Because let me tell you, there's people spying. Well, there probably is people spying on you. You're not completely paranoid. And just because you're paranoid doesn't mean somebody isn't really watching you. Like right there. Somebody's watching me. Well, one person's watching me. But yeah. And then there's other ridiculous ones. Pandas don't exist. Penguins don't exist. Snow is made by the government to keep us in check. You know, there's all of these things that, you know, there's nothing. See, you've seen dead birds. I mean, you know, they've got organs, they've got skin and bones and everything like that. You'd think if they were robots, they'd have, you know, robot parts. But, you know, so, and then the other thing is, where's the benefit on the fake birds other than the government gets to spy on us with fake birds? What are we doing that's so exciting? You know? See, that's one thing these people don't ever seem to get. They seem to think their lives are more exciting than they really are. You know, oh, the government's spying on us. Oh, the government's doing. Why? Do you really think the government gives that I went out to Target tonight and, you know, bought, what did I get? See, I don't even remember what I got. Oh, I got a soda. Do you think they care? Do you think, you know, they got a bird that follows me when I hop in the car to go down and put gas in the car? Really? Is my life that exciting that they're going to follow me around with fake birds? Is your life that exciting that they're going to follow you around with fake birds or fake penguins or fake pandas? Now, if you're walking down the street and there's a panda following you, I'm more inclined to believe you, if you live in the United States of America, that you're being spied on than if you're being followed by a bird. Because, I mean, pandas are kind of shifty. And they don't belong in America. Well, they don't belong on the streets of America. So there's that. So that's what I mean between questions versus theories. Have questions. Questions are great. You know, you might find something that really, really is out there. I don't believe everything that I'm told by anybody, really. You know, but I'm sure there's things that go on in this world that are kept from us. Probably. But there has to be a reason. You can't just say, well, I don't understand birds, or I don't see enough birds, so birds are spying on us. I've never seen the curvature of the earth, so the earth must be flat. Well, I get that. You know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have these thoughts, but I think you should look into these thoughts a little bit more sometimes. You know, I mean, yeah, it's easy to go and say, well, this is what I was taught all my life, so I just assume that it's real. You're right. You assume things are real because you're taught it your entire life. And yeah, like I said, you're welcome to question it. But there are some things that just don't make a lot of sense when you put down the numbers and you look at how many people have to be involved in any conspiracy. Now, a conspiracy at the place you work, not the company you work for, just the workplace itself. You may work for Target, you may work for Best Buy. Now, the likelihood of there being a company-wide conspiracy is probably okay, probably in the realm of possibility, but more likely at a store level. Now, if you look at a store level conspiracy that entails the people you work with and the people you work directly for, more likely, because less people have to be involved in that conspiracy. At a Walmart, you've got maybe 4 or 5 managers in the store, and that would be pretty much everybody that would have to be in the know. And of course, their goal is to do whatever they need to do and get done whatever they need to get done. So there is a reason for a store level conspiracy. But as you go up that chain, and that I'm using the store analogy as kind of an idea of, store level, you've got 4 or 5 people. That manager, maybe a couple of the managers benefit from something, whether it's a conspiracy to get people to do a certain chore because the manager will end up getting a bonus. That makes sense. But as you climb up that ladder and you add more and more people into it, it starts getting a little more difficult because you've got more people you have to keep under your thumb if you are the one committing the conspiracy. And so you've got a lot more people you need to keep quiet. And I mean, just go look at it this way. You get a couple friends, get 3 or 4 friends, and 2 of you come up with a conspiracy and only tell the two of you, and then trick the other 2. Be pretty easy, right? Because there's nobody, it's easier to rely on one person keeping your secret than it is for you relying on a dozen, 2 dozen, 100 people keeping your secret for you. But it'll show. I mean, if you get more people, say you bring more people in on the conspiracy end and more people in on the other side of things, on the working for you scenario, and the more people you have that are, say, management and are in on the conspiracy or in on whatever you're trying to accomplish, see how many you get before somebody just kind of says, well, I'm friends with the guy over here who is a minion or an employee or whatever, and he's my friend, and I really can't keep lying to him. So then he or she goes and tells this friend who is the regular employee, and suddenly that conspiracy is getting out. Now that employee goes and tells another employee, that employee tells another, so on and so forth. So when you see these conspiracies, these theories that are, flat Earth, penguins don't exist, reptilians, that's another conspiracy. I mean, can you imagine how many people would have to be in on the keeping reptilians secret? Not saying that it's not happening. I'm just saying, just think about how many people would have to be in on that. and how hard it would be to keep it that way. So I don't know. So I don't know, we're about half an hour into the show, and I only prepared about a half an hour worth of material because I was hoping that I would have quite a few more viewers, so that some viewers could be like asking questions or something. But nothing is happening yet. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of running out of things to say about conspiracies because I'm going to be repeating. And I know I've repeated already some stuff. So, you know how that goes. Repetitiveness is not a good way to keep viewers. So, I go back to the StreamYard Studios, sorry. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got prepared. I don't know. But yeah, so to me, there's a big difference between questions and theories. And, you can question all you like. I think it's obviously it's human nature to question things. And that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a dumb person. It doesn't make you a super intelligent person. It doesn't change who you are. You're just curious, and you want to know what things are really going on, and it's human nature to want something exciting to happen. So here we'll do it this way. Since Wolf is here and he understands the real life superhero community, I'll talk about that a little bit as far as things go, or what I was saying about conspiracies. Now, when you're a real life superhero, you go out on the streets, you go doing safety patrols, crime patrols, whatever. You're hoping that something more will happen. You're not going out there on a daily, nightly, weekly, monthly, whatever basis to not have anything happen. Obviously you don't want somebody to get hurt. You don't want yourself to get hurt. You don't want to have to hurt somebody, but you do want something to happen. You want something exciting to happen. You want something to have a story about. And those of us who have done it and who have been out on the streets can tell you that 90% of the time, there's not a lot of exciting stories. A lot of the stories you'll get from an average patrol is, somebody tripped on a curb and I helped them get up and clean off their knee and, bandage it up or whatever. Or, we stopped and helped some homeless people, or, oh, he is? I'm so sorry for you. That would really suck. Better there than here. I'll put it that way. But then again, we've got me and we've got Geist, so we don't really have a lot. There's another guy supposedly. I don't remember what he goes by, but there's another guy in Minnesota, and I'm not familiar with him. I found out about it and don't know what's going on with that. Wait, he's staying with the little Eric staying with Shadow somebody, doesn't he? I think I saw a video. And is it just him or is ML with him? That I'm not quite sure. I kind of had the impression ML was with him too. which is funny because we're talking about this stuff like everybody in here knows what's. Oh wait, everybody who is in here does know what we're talking about. So yeah, this went from conspiracy theories and questions to Little Eric. And we could. Oh, he is with them. Yeah, because I knew that. Oh, really? I thought ML was living with Eric out in like Jersey or something, and then because I thought they were like living with his parents, and then Eric just recently came out that way to hang with Shadow Vision. Do you know Shadow Vision? Because I don't. I've not had any interactions with them. I'm not friends with them. I did see a video when I heard that they were well. I'd heard Eric was there. I wasn't sure about ML. But yeah, I don't know. There's a little learning curve on that one. As far as that's my opinion. I may be entirely, completely wrong. But from what I saw, Shadow Vision was a little bit unsure of himself, and it was kind of showing in the way he was speaking in the video, and that Eric seemed to be kind of guiding him when he wasn't being distracted himself. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. I mean, I've had Eric and ML blocked for probably about 4 or 5 years now. And I've had very little. Oh, okay. So ML moved to your area than Eric did. How are they, like really close by, or are they like, half a state away, or I'm not sure as to the cities involved, but it doesn't surprise me ML was kicked out. That doesn't surprise me at all. Here's a little story. So what went down with ML and I was that at one point he had hired me to remake his uniform. Now I made the original uniform I made for him, and then he hired me to make another one like a couple of years later, about 5 hours. Okay. Yeah, that's at least it's a little distance for them, so they're not right on top of you, so that's good. Anyhow, in between, he kept coming up. Oh, I've got these great money making ideas for you. You should make superhero swimming suits and blah blah blah. And he kept, telling me stuff that I should be making, And then it came down to at the end, I had made a second suit for him, and I used the exact same fabric because I had leftover spandex. I had bought like enough for 4 or 5 suits when I found the silver for it, and because I really liked it and I liked the stretchability of it, and I thought it would be usable in a number of other projects, back in the day when I was making suits. So I made him his second suit, and boy, right off the bat, he was upset. This isn't silver, it's blue. Do I have to explain color theory to you? Because blue presents itself as silver. There are blue hues in silver. Silver is not, in a fabric, it's not going to be a mirror silver. It is going to be colors that come together to make the appearance of silver. And let me reiterate that the first suit I made was made from the same exact fabric off of the same bolt of fabric. Oh boy, he was livid, and he was hitting me up in DMs on Facebook, and oh, you're a liar, you're this, you're a horrible person, blah blah blah. And at this time was when I was first actually I'd been in Razorhawk for a while at that time. But yeah, he kept attacking me, and he was telling me how he's going to go tell everybody what a scum I am, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, well, here's the thing: people respect me more than they respect you. The people that do respect you, on the other hand, are questionable people. I said, so you can go tell your friends all you want, whatever you want to tell them about me, because quite frankly, I don't want to deal with them as customers. I really don't, because they're going to be customers like you. And, I'm going to tell everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm the god of real life superheroes, and everybody knows and respects me, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, okay. I said, ML, as of this point, and this is what kills me, because when I first started getting into RLSH, I really liked Master Legend. I really did. I felt like he was misunderstood. I felt like he was a little bit off, but he was a good guy. And I overlooked a lot of things. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. I wasn't quite sure if he had like a speech impediment, SV, or not, or if he was just very not a public speaker. And so Eric was kind of, goading him along, or being his voice or something, or trying to. I didn't get the impression that he was trying to put words into his mouth. I had the feeling that he was just trying to help him put his thoughts into words. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I blocked after that situation with ML. I blocked his ass. I blocked him. I was just like, nope. Have nothing to, there's nothing good that's going to come of remaining a friend. And I felt for him. I really did. I thought he was just misunderstood, and that he was a little crazy. And I overlooked a lot of stuff, like his drinking problem and his, what's the word? Scamming on people vibe, maybe, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I was done with him. I was done with Eric at that time. And Eric was the same way. At one time I really, felt for him, and I really enjoyed having him as a friend. But after a while, he started pulling things on people, and I was seeing the after effects of what was happening. And it got to the point where I had to say, no, I can't condone it. I mean, I remember sitting up at night, messaging back and forth, over personal things, personal problems and issues. And, yeah, and then it just all of a sudden it's a 180. But that's what happens in that community a lot. That's one thing that kind of throws a wrench in things sometimes. For the most part, I've had very good experiences with a lot of people, and some, eh, you know, but not where they've been bad. You know, just where, I don't get it, so I'm not gonna get involved and call anybody out or put anybody down, because it takes all different kinds of people, and some people do have different beliefs and different feelings on what's going on in the world, as well as what's going on in their communities, online communities. So, sometimes people don't like the people I like, and sometimes people don't like people that are adjacent to people I like. And that's okay. It's not everybody gets along with everybody. I've tried, but there have been those few that have just gotten to be a little too over the top, and I just didn't know what to do with it anymore. I don't wish anything bad upon any of these people, but I have chosen in some cases to not have them be a part of my daily existence. And it's not based on hate. It's self-preservation, maybe. Wow, this went into a whole different direction from where this show was originally going. So anybody that watches this later is going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, I hope, I wish everybody well, but some people just, I need to not have certain drama in my head on top of the drama that I deal with, in my own head, with, school and stuff like that. I got a lot of things going on, and sometimes I can't afford certain kinds of distractions. So yeah, I mean, I don't outwardly go to fight any of these people, because it's not worth it. It's not. They haven't done anything that I feel is horrendous. It's just different, A lot of people have come and gone out of my circle in the RLSH community. No malice, no hatred, no nothing. It just happens, Some I had to, but for my own personal well-being. And like I said, it's not a matter of hating or disliking. It's just, I need what's best for me. And so there's that. You had to tell him, yeah. Well, I can understand that. I mean, just like any other job, there are people you can't work with. It doesn't mean that like in my case, there's people I can't work with. That doesn't mean I have any animosity towards them. I just can't work with them for one reason or another, because it frustrates me, or because I feel like I'm doing more work than I need to be doing, or, you name it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into professional relationships with people. There's a lot of really good people. There are a lot of really good people. There are a lot of gray people, in between, that you're not quite sure of. But I mean, being who I am, I've worked with a lot of people face to face in the community, and I have often been impressed by the people that I've worked with. I've worked with the California Initiative. I've worked with the XJL San Diego. I've worked with people up in Portland. I've worked with people in Chicago, with Patch. I've worked with a lot of the Bay Coast. Is it Bay Coast Guardians or Bay Area Guardians? I never remember. With Impact. I love Impact. Impact's a great guy. Good Samaritan is a fantastic guy. They're just really good people. The people I've worked with in the XJL, Knight and Mr. Extreme and Nightingale and Grim and Hot Flash and just everyone that I've worked with in those groups have been fantastic. Working with Rock and Roll and Nightbug and Vector has been awesome. I worked one time with Zero, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed working with him. And the guys in Chicago, your Patrioteer, Wraith are awesome guys. West Devil is an awesome guy. Patchwork is an awesome guy. I mean, there's a lot of really good people out there. And I know I'm missing people, but I've worked with people from just all over and from different walks of life and different kinds of backgrounds as far as, family and work and faith and stuff like that. And I've always had great experiences with them. I look so forward to going and doing a Hope event because it's such a great place to fit in. You get out there with people and so, you get these guys, you get someone like Frost, for instance. Frost he cracks me up, and he's just, he plays these, this character thing that just cracks me up. And, he's a darn good guy, but sometimes he goofs around a little bit and makes it seem like he's not. But he really is. And, I've worked with the former Electron, is a good guy. Blackbird's a good guy. Watchman's a good guy. I could go on and on. And Cygnus is a great guy. Night Owl is one of my favorites. Skyman was such a great opportunity to meet him, and Arachnite, and who else? Ace Edward Venom, and everybody up in the Iron Squadron that I've worked with up in Portland. There's been a lot of really good people that I've gotten to meet and work with, and I really appreciate them. And I think some people might underestimate how good a people they really are. It's easy to go, oh, they dress up like superheroes and go out and do stuff. That's such a small part of what good people they are. But it's always good. It's always good to get into a community where people are respectable and they respect others as well, and they do stuff to help other people. There's not a lot of places you go in life that you get that. Most places you're at work, you're hanging out maybe with local friends who, don't really have a direction or a plan necessarily, other than to just, when you get together, you just go out and you have fun. Nothing wrong with that, but at all, really. It's just that, when you're dealing with the people I've dealt with in the community, there's some really good folk out there, and I've really enjoyed and I look forward to hopefully in the future doing more, not as often, because just, life happens and sometimes you can't just drop everything and go to a get together or meet up or whatever, crossover or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so this turned into something really weird, and I was really thinking that other guy that was here last week was going to pop in, and I told him I'd remind him on Twitter the day of, and I posted a couple times today, and I've also posted the link to here. But as you can see up above here, right up in here, we're at the 55, 56 minute point of the show, which means we've got about 4 minutes left. And I'll stick for the 4 minutes. But yeah, this was one of those topics I thought just was something I like to talk about, because I'm fascinated by conspiracy theories. I'm fascinated with the way they intertwine with other interests of mine, like true crime and paranormal and stuff like that. And so I thought, I can talk about it a little bit and, get my views out there. My views aren't perfect. They aren't the right view or the wrong view. They're just my view. And I think there's more to conspiracies than just you either believe them or you don't. There's a lot of gray area to discover and to look into. And so I find it very fascinating. I haven't come up with a concept for next week's show yet. I have been toying around with the idea of being a wrestling show, talking about my history as a wrestler and about wrestling in general. And, I'd probably talk old school wrestling, because I honestly, I'm not as up to date as I'd like to be on what's going on in the world, except what I see about AEW from time to time, but I'm not watching it every week, so I'm not as up to date. I'm going to try to look into getting some special guests on the show in the future. But I think I need to prove that I can get a few more butts in the seats before any of my celebrity friends will commit to coming on the show. I do have a couple people in mind, wrestling people, paranormal people, but we'll see what happens. And I'll probably talk to a couple people and see if any of them show any interest in coming aboard for an episode and answering questions. Because that's the main thing here. This is why I do a live stream, so we can have a talk, we can, answer questions, ask questions, give theories, and just discuss things. I like answering questions, and I like this format because I can get, people can say something over in the comment section, and I can be, let's touch on that for a while, which is great. So as we wind up on the last 45 seconds of the program, I think it was a fairly successful episode. I did talk a lot about what I wanted to talk about. I ended up talking about a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware I was going to talk about. But it's always good to talk to you, Wolf, and to have you on board. And I'll see you around Facebook. But until next week, I am Jack, a.k.a. Action Jason Cosplay. And I'm going to bid you all a good evening. Take care, everyone. Action Jason out.